Pakistan calls it a climate-induced humanitarian crisis of epic proportions.
Flood water has been flowing down through the Sindh district of Pakistan.
Pakistan's Minister for Climate Change, Senator Sherry Raymond, says it's the worst flooding Pakistan's witnessed in living memory.
Let's talk about what's happening in Pakistan right now. As you can tell, I'm currently in Pakistan. I've been here for almost 2 months now, and this isn't the video I had originally planned. What I had planned was exciting travel content from Pakistan, but those videos will have to wait because this is a very important issue. There have been severe floodings all across Pakistan. Thousands of people have died, including hundreds of children. Millions have been displaced, their homes have been destroyed. Almost $5 billion worth of damage has been caused by these floods. Literally 1/3 of Pakistan's landmass is underwater. And at first I thought this was an exaggeration, but I did my research and it really is true. Pakistan is in the top 10 countries most affected by climate change, which really sucks because it is also the country that emits the least amount of CO2 emissions per capita in the world. So if you think this is just a Pakistan issue, you're wrong, because this is a global issue and Pakistan has to pay the price for the emissions emitted by the rest of the world. Pakistan is home to over 7,000 glaciers, which is more than any country in the world outside the polar regions. And due to climate change, these glaciers are melting at rapid rates. The melting of these glaciers combined with heavy rainfall is a major contribution for these floods. Now, could the floods have been avoided? Of course, I mean, there were floods back in 2010. And so the government had over a decade to do something about it, but they didn't. Pakistan has a long history of political instability and corruption, so climate change isn't really on the top of their list. I recently came across a tweet where this lady was talking about how she returned to Pakistan and took a resume to NDMA, which is Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority. The chairman, who was a general, saw her master's degree in environmental science and said that they only do post-disaster management, and all she had studied was pre-disaster climate change planning. I mean, it just goes to show that it's easy to say that it's all part of God's plan or it's God's punishment, and to deflect one's responsibility as the government or even as citizens. But the truth is that these disasters can be avoidable with proper planning and infrastructure. To everyone watching this video, there are 3 steps you can take to help the people in Pakistan. Step number 1 is spread awareness. I've seen a lot of you guys already doing this on Instagram by sharing infographics or tweeting about the floods, which is great. Keep on doing that. Step number 2 is to donate. Spreading awareness is great, but the people who are suffering need clean drinking water, food, and medication. This is where your donation comes in play, where people who are suffering, who need clean water, food, and medication, you can make their lives easier and even save some lives. Step number 3 is doing actual activism. Now, I know Canada just pledged $5 million for the flood relief victims, which is great. And as a Pakistani Canadian, I'm proud. But just for some comparison, Canada has donated over $1.2 billion towards Ukraine's crisis. So, as a Canadian, what you can do is write a letter to your member of parliament. Tell them to show Pakistan the same energy as they show towards Ukraine's crisis. If you haven't donated already, please do so. There are a bunch of organizations that are doing a lot of good charity work. So do your research and make sure that your money is going to the right places and not filling someone else's pocket. I'm also collecting funds for victims in the Sindh region and Balochistan. So if you have $1 to spare, click the link in my bio, donate generously in my GoFundMe link. And I personally will be overlooking that the money you donate will be used directly to purchase clean drinking water, food, medications, and women's hygienic kits. So donate generously, and I'll make a follow-up video showing how these funds have been used in full transparency. Watch out for my next video. Take care. Make dua for Pakistan.